In 1 Corinthians 4, verse 7, Paul asks a series of questions. Who made you different? Who has made everyone distinct and separate? Who made all these variations of people that we observe in our lives that are able to do all these different things, who are able to excel in all these different areas and so many talents, like all those people on America's Got Talent or Britain's Got Talent or Romania's Got Talent or whatever it is? Who made all these variations of people, these contrasts within people? And the answer is God did. God made all these variations of people with different ability levels and different talents. And man, are we ever different. You may never want to get on a motorcycle in your entire life. You may want to get on a motorcycle and take a leisurely stroll, never hammering down on the throttle or, leaving both wheels on the ground at all times. Then there are others who like to see how fast, how high, how far it'll go and take that machine and your body to the breaking point. There are so many differences and variations between people's lives, what they do, how they're able to do it. Some of you are hunting turkeys right now, and that's a talent that you may have, and you have beards and feathers pinned up in every room of your house, while others of us have the talent of opening the package of cold cuts from the store or eating a turkey sub at Subway, and that's our turkey. There are so many variations of people's talents and abilities when it comes to what they can do. Some of you can field dress a deer and have it in the freezer in less than an hour, and some of you can't slice an apple without cutting your finger to the bone. But no matter what the variation or the ability level, the common denominator remains the same. God has given you the talent. God is the source of all of your talents. That has to be where you launch from and where you land when it comes to this whole discussion. God is the source of every talent. Every sports team and athlete that you love to watch, that you miss watching right now, God gave them talent. God gave them the 6'8" frame, and God created the body that has the power, the speed, the finesse, the reaction time, the stealth, the ability to reason or speak, whatever the case may be. When it comes to that body, God is responsible for the observable differences between people when it comes to their talents and abilities. God is responsible for what is happening between everyone's God-given talents. Who made everyone different? God did. And when you look at the world right now from 6 feet or more away, and you look at the cyber posts and comments and online videos, it's a world that is filled with so many people. And some of those people are absolutely overflowing with this observable ability and talent. And there are some people we have chosen to observe more than others. As we're distancing ourselves from each other when it comes to Sunday or Wednesdays, there are different preachers and teachers of the gospel that you are drawn to listen to above others. Most people are able to listen to multiple online sermons, on a Sunday, multiple studies when it comes to Wednesdays, or even every day throughout the week. And we are able to listen to those that we have labeled or deemed as the best of the best, those that we love. I can stroll through the online feeds right now and probably watch 100 different sermons from the past week. If the Corinthian church would have had online streaming back then, they could have listened to a sermon by Paul, Apollos, and Peter, and all of those preachers and teachers have a common thread: God-given, God-granted abilities. God is the source of their talent. The talent of preaching, of teaching, of writing the truths of the gospel. When it came to Paul, Apollos, Peter, when it comes to anyone, they all are God-given talents. The awesome preaching style of Apollos, the writing of Paul, the work and ministry of Peter. God is the creator of all talents. God is the giver of all talents. He's the source of it all. No matter what the talent is, it is God's to give. No matter what talent you may have, God is always going to be the source. And here's where our observable talents, whatever they are, here's where they all get defined and boxed in. 1 Corinthians chapter 4 verse 6. Paul says, I've applied these things to myself and to Apollos for your benefit, that you may learn by us not to go beyond what is written or be puffed up in favor of one against another. Your abilities and talents, which the world is going to observe, which those in the church will observe, Your talents are to be executed between two lines. The line of what is written by God, or not going beyond what is written, and the line of understanding where that talent came from. So you apply these and you mark these in your life, that there are two things that I want you to apply to yourself, just as Paul and Apollos did, or Paul did when it came to Apollos, that when people observe your talents, when people observe your abilities, whatever you're able to do, they see that you keep a certain code, that you stick to a certain set of behaviors, godly behaviors, Christ-like rules, and also that you know that your abilities have a source in God, have their creation in God. So two lines. Do they show up in your talent, and do they show up in your abilities? Think about your talents, what you're able to do in this life, what you're able to accomplish in this life. And if you have been living within these two boundary lines, that people know I use my talents and I use my abilities within the lines of what God has written, and that all of those abilities that I've been given are from God, so that I have nothing to boast in. I love working, I really do. Are there some things that I love doing more than others? Absolutely. But I love to work. We're getting geared up to start planting corn. And I'll be in the tractor putting seed in the ground as long as my eyes will stay open and the tractor has seed and fuel. But I've made it a priority in my life not to run on Sunday. If it's harvest, if it's spraying, if it's planting, if it's mowing my yard, I don't run it. Oh, preacher, you're just bragging, just hush. That's not my intent. This has become my choice with my talents. I want to keep working on Sundays sometimes because I love doing it. And sometimes it'd be helpful if I could run on Sundays. But to me, there's something greater that is going on Sunday in my life. And this isn't some slam against people who have to work on Sunday or who mow their yard on Sunday. But I want to make sure and apply these two principles to whatever my talent and abilities may be. That people can observe that I stick to a certain set of behaviors with my abilities, with my talents, and that I know that all of my talents and abilities have come from God, so that I have nothing to boast in, that there are no fingers that are pointing towards me, but they're pointing towards the God who gave me the talents and the ability that I might have. What do you have that you did not receive from God? If then you received it from God, why would you live as if you didn't?